Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by Dr. Pam Theriot, author of Alleviate Dry Eye. Dr. Pam, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Are you ready to get started?
Yes, glad to be here. Thank you so much.
We are thrilled to have you, and we're looking forward to getting started with our questions. And our first question to you is, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
I would say to write anywhere at any time. Don't think that you need a special pen or place, a special cup or music. You don't need a setting to write. In fact, I wrote most of the first draft of my book as I commuted to work. I have a bit of a commute, so I spoke my first draft. I would just do an outline, and then I would get in the car and I would just start talking. As an eye doctor, I don't tend to spend much time sitting down behind a computer during my working hours. But I do speak to my patients all day long, and it was much more comfortable to me just to get my ideas out verbally rather than writing them.
I love that you mentioned that. We are a huge believer in using dictation for your book. We recommend that with our clients that are comfortable with that process. If you don't mind me asking, which program do you use to record your to record all your different chapters and everything?
I think I'm pretty low tech. I just would send myself an email with my phone.
Nice.
So I would just speak it into an email. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I always love to hear about different processes. So some people use Google Voice. We use Rev, both with their... They have two versions. So one where they have a human do the transcription, and another one with their artificial intelligence. And their AI has gotten so good that we've actually transitioned over there. But you're right. I mean, Google Voice, there's so many different things that you can do to just speak it out. And it's very easy to turn that into a Word file or whichever format you're going to use, and then just clean it up from that point.
Yeah, I think that is the only way that I actually got my book written, is by speaking it. If I had to sit down at the computer and type, the other thing is that it stops writer's block, because you always have something to say, but sometimes you stare at that cursor bleeping back at you. So it's a good way.
It's funny, one of my strategic partners, who's also one of my best friends, we're actually starting his book, which is going to be on digital marketing. And I basically told him, I said, listen, I know with you, there's no way you're going to write this book. I just know it. So you're going to come over one Saturday. We'll have a couple beverages, and we're just going to knock this book out. You're literally going to speak out the entire book into your computer. I think we're just going to use like the Rev AI and just do it that way. Speak it straight into the laptop, convert it, because with their AI, they'll actually be able to transcribe it with under 5 minutes. So we can literally get that entire book cranked out within a day. And he's like, we're going to do this? I said, yes, if it kills you, we're going to do it. Unfortunately, I would never say that to regular clients, but with him being one of my best friends, I can kind of get away with saying some of those things. So I was like, yeah, you're going to come over here. It's going to be like a boot camp. We're going to get this book cranked out. You've got the talking points. We're just going to expand on each of them.
Wow, that's great. Love it.
So what do you feel is the hardest parts about getting published?
So I think being organized was difficult for me. My book is an 8-week plan to take patients from being red, dry, scratchy to whiter, brighter, and more comfortable with their eyes. And having it flow was more difficult. I think my editor played a key role in keeping me in a step-by-step process versus being all over the map, and made me go back and explain myself when I go off on my doctor tangents. And So having a great editor under your belt is a definite benefit to you.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best investments that you can make because they really do help make it a nice, polished, professional product. And that's the one area you don't want to skimp on. You don't want to not invest because that investment in an editor is one of the best things that you can do.
And when you think about it, anyone who's writing a book, they're the expert on what it is that they're writing on. And having someone who's on the outside looking in at your work in a professional manner is of the utmost importance. I just told her, listen, I'm not an English major, and you're not going to hurt my feelings. So, lay it out there. Just tell me what needs to be done, and we're going to get it done. So I think the author, needs to understand that you don't have all of the skills and hire in the skills that you need.
Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launch that has worked well.
So as I was saying, that my book is on patients or people who suffer from dry eyes. So I had a demographic that I was looking at when I started marketing my book. So people who sit in front of computers for long hours, such as authors, are a good demographic. Also, women tend to have more dry eye than men. It's about an 80% female disease. And so women between the ages of 30 to 65 who are still working, being on the computer, wearing makeup, anyone who's trying to wear contact lenses. So what I tried to do was find other people who had the same demographic that I was looking at. So like I was saying, writers, people who use the computer for long periods of time. So anyone who has that same audience as their demographic, and getting on their platforms to share my message with their audiences has worked well. So other healthcare professionals, like dermatologists or rheumatologists, where dry eye can fall into those two categories as well. People suffering from autoimmune diseases will often have dry eye, or people who have acne rosacea, which is a skin problem, will have dry eye from ocular rosacea. And there's crossover. So being on those platforms can be beneficial to the people that they're speaking to in a way that is separate from what they're doing already.
So what was your strategy to be able to do that guest blogging? What was your process with that?
Reaching out to key opinion leaders in those fields and just asking for to be on their blog. Can I share a blog with your audience? If they had a podcast, can I be on your podcast? And that's been pretty powerful.
And then was there a specific pitch that you made in regards to that? Or was it just like, hey, I've got this book coming out. I'd love to do a guest blog on it. This is why I feel it would benefit your audience, that type of approach?
Yes, exactly. And, I'm not stepping on their toes because it's something that's separate from what their main message is, but there's overlap.
Got it. Well, speaking of books, I'd like to know what is your favorite book and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
So my favorite book this year, I had to break it down because I have a lot of favorite books. I'm sure every author that you speak to says that. My favorite book this year just came out in September, and it's Everything is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo. And she gives a process of that anything that you want to do is doable, and really speaks to each section to start before you think you're ready. Progress is more powerful than getting things perfect, and then refusing to be refused. You just keep trying over and over. If you think that there's something that you need to do in the world, you've got to keep going for it. And I really used that methodology. Although she'd just written the book, she sort of taught that on her own podcast for years. And so when I was writing my book, I used a 4-step process to help the reader treat their dry eye and it's a process that's come from a major publication, a research paper. But within that research paper, trying to hone things down so that it was a process that was doable for the reader, I had to do a lot of my own kind of nitty-gritty research into, what product is going to be the best product for these different patients. And so I think I really had to do that whole everything is figure-outable. Well, let's just keep trying a different product on my in-practice patients. Had them do some of the groundwork to, which products do you like and which ones, why do you like them, and sort of gathering all of this knowledge to put into the book. So I think it's a great asset to anyone writing to always be curious about somehow that you could do things better. And that's my favorite book.
And for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote is by Jim Rohn, "Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live." And I feel that your vision is your most precious gift. And we should be doing everything that we can to take care of our vision. Most of us take it for granted until it's impaired or gone in some way, or you have some vision scare like a contact lens related ulcer or infection, and then people will hopefully usually jump back on the bandwagon of taking care of their eyes. So in life we only get two eyes. There's no eye transplant, there's no going back, and I want to teach my audience the best ways to care for their eyes and their vision so that they last them a lifetime.
Absolutely. Well, Pamela, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show today. What is the best way for people to find you online?
I have a website. It's pamtheriot.com, and that's PamTheriot.com, which is PamTheRiot.com. There I have a blog, my course, videos, freebies to help you take the best care of your eyes that you can. Currently I have a course on clean makeup use, and it's a way for women to get the best products on their eyes that'll make them feel comfortable. I also have a Facebook page at Pam Theriot Page.
Well, Dr. Pam, I want to thank you once again for being on the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how you can be featured in our brand new Get Published business book, go to getpublishedpodcast.com.